the uterine horn, okay? And so here's the uterine horn coming from the other side, it's another big one there, and when they come together, that's the body of the uterus, okay? So I've lifted it up so you can see where the Y comes together, that's the body. And then if we go farther down, there's a little thickening right there. It's a little bump there, and if you have gloves on you and you squeeze it or touch it, it's hard. That's the cervix, which is the muscular sphincter, which controls entry to the uterus, okay? And so, and the other part that we see here, I'm holding up the urinary bladder, and so basically that's the ureter that came in. I had to cut that so we could flip it over to get it out of the way, okay? And so then below the uterus, in this area below the, cervix, is going to be the vagina. And then when you come in from the outside, and you've got a couple of things that, can I hand me the tweezers? 4 seconds. So we've got a couple of structures we can see here, a couple of openings. There's two openings that one can see as I hold this back. There's an opening on the top, there's one below, okay? This opening on the top is the opening that goes into, let me get this probe in here. It goes into this structure right here, and this is the exit from the bladder, that's the urethra, okay? So this opening is the external urethral orifice, okay? The opening below this, if I lift this up just a little bit, is basically the opening into the vagina, right in below here, okay? So that goes into this structure here. Now this is different than in males because you saw, and notice the external urethral orifice is anterior to the vagina, and that's what it is in most mammals, okay? And you'll see the diagrams of that in the lab manual, but this is the way it is in the cat, okay? And then the external genitalia are here. So this is a pretty easy thing to remember. So what I want you to do is take a look at, you have to look close to see the actual fallopian tubes, which are just really tiny little structures. It's a tiny coiled duct. And so in these animals, basically, ovulation captures it towards the top, it goes through this duct, and then it actually goes down into the fallopian, or the uterine horn. Now, these are also held in place in part, and you can see this in this particular specimen, by a suspensory ligament. So these are also held in place by 2 ligaments, one called a broad ligament, which maybe we can see on this one if we lift it up. So the broad ligament, and you can see it in part, there's some tissue there. So it holds it in place. This is, a derivation of the peritoneal serosa that holds it in place so it doesn't move around. And then it has a suspensory ligament, which is another derivation of that, which keeps it so it, from collapsing down towards the distal portion of the abdominal cavity. So those are apparent. Now they're going to look different in cats than they do in humans, obviously, but they're both there, okay?